Hi, good evening. My name is Cynthia Obioha. I'm going to do this introduction again, but you're welcome to the CU Alumni live stream, monthly live series, where we'll have different people come talk to you about different things, different topics, alumni members, and we're looking forward to having you engage today. Yeah, so please do not send a request. If you're not Folakemi, I wouldn't be letting you in. But thank you for joining on time, and we're looking forward to chatting with you in a bit, okay? All right. Did everyone get the banner? I'm just trying to set up, so give me a few minutes to set the topic for this. And yeah, I guess we are good to go. I'm super excited to have you here today, and for like this thing. Right, I'm trying a different setting today. We're trying to bring in Folakemi. Thank you for joining. Share with your friends. There is I think the arrow at the bottom somewhere where you can actually share with people to join. The good thing is that even non-alumni can actually watch this, even though this is made for you as an alumni. So feel free to share with people so they can join and learn from a fellow Eagle. Hi. Can you hear me? Yes? No? All right. Can everyone hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Hey, Folakemi, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. It seems there's a lag, but we'll try our best today. And if you can't hear me or you can hear Folakemi, please just let us know. Say something in the comment section, and we'll work on that. Okay. But just to make sure that we get the best use of this time, we're going to kick off officially today. So my name is Cynthia Obioha. I'm an alumni of Covenant University. I graduated in 2010, computer science degree. But today we have Folakemi Odesola, the founder and an alumni. She'll tell you about herself very soon. Actually, there's a typo here, and I'm going to fix that. So she will tell you, yeah, I saw the typo. Thank you. So she'll tell you about herself, and then we can get right into this, okay? So looking forward to having you ask your questions, but just to give you an introduction on what we're doing today, this is the first of the monthly series that Covenant University alumni would be doing for everyone. That's the alumni. The agenda for the team this year is to drive an alumni for all. And this is one of those things that, that they're doing to make it inclusive for you. So it would feature a lot of Eagles, and hopefully it would also cover topics that would be relevant for all Eagles, okay? Of course, as usual, if you have suggestions, it's usually an open platform, so feel free to talk about it or flag it to someone. But I think we can kick off already. So Folakemi is here and she has said hi. And let's start with a little intro. Tell us about yourself. Tell us when you graduated from Covenant University. And and tell us about what you do.
All right. So my name is, thank you. Thank you, Nera. So my name is Folakemi Odesola. I graduated from Covenant University, Pioneer Set, 2006. Did my master's degree, graduated 2008. So what I do, so I graduated with a degree, with degrees in architecture, actually. So I was an architecture student. What I do right now, I still practice architecture and interior design. But my life work actually is based around vision clarity and dream actualization for people. So what I do is that I help people make their visions for life tangible, clear, and very easy to actualize. A lot of us are we have vague ideas sometimes of the things that we are supposed to accomplish, of who we are supposed to be, what we're supposed to do, and all that. So what I do is that I help people clarify what that is, and I help them build capacity to actualize it. So in a nutshell, yes.
Perfect. I think the very first thing I picked out of it is that you're a person of many talents, and we are going to deep dive into one of those talents of yours today. But I want to tell everyone before we proceed, please, can I ask that you share with other alumni members so they don't miss this? Probably they didn't get a notification or anything. So there is this thing that looks like an arrow at the bottom. Kindly share with friends to join. And actually, non-alumni members can actually join. Cool. So let's kick off this. We've talked about what Folakemi does, and one of the things she mentioned is the vision boarding part, right? I was opportune last year to have a similar chat with her on a different platform, my platform, Time with Naraya, and where we went through this thing. And you can see, I can't wait for her to talk through what's behind her. But her sessions are really practical, so I'll ask you to pay attention. At some point, if you need to get a jotter or anything, just get one and, start talking. So I guess before we even proceed, right? There's been a lot of vision boarding parties in quotes in Lagos from like December to January, and this is for those in Nigeria. Can you tell us what does this even entail? What is vision boarding? What is a vision, and what is vision boarding in general before we actually even get into steps to building a vision board?
Yeah, so a vision board. Okay, so vision. We start from vision. A vision is the most widely acceptable definition is that a vision is the mental picture of your future. But sometimes I find that definition might not really, get down to the nitty gritties of it. So I would say that your vision is a picture of who.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. This is the internet, but go ahead. We lost you for a bit.
Okay, it's a picture of who you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to have, what you want to create, and what you want to experience, in your life. I think that's more practical. You could go from the what I want to do, have, who I want to be, what I want to create in my life. So that's what your vision is essentially. And a vision board is just a board where you represent these things. So who you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to have, what you want to create can be floating around in your head space, for a very long time, and you don't get to write that out or bring it out or anything. So a vision board actually is a board that gives you like a visual representation of all those things I just talked about. So it's just a board that represents, your vision. That's what a vision board is.
Okay, cool. For everyone here again, just one thing. Thank you so much for coming. Just one thing again. We're going to spend about 30 minutes towards the end to take questions. But if there's any pressing thing as we're talking about it, feel free to write it and I'll take note of it. So you've talked about the vision not just being the mental picture of the future, which we kind of know because it rhymes, and of course because it's also a proper definition. And you've talked about, vision boarding. But let's even go back to say, like, what is the essence of a vision, right? So when you hear people think, okay, is this something that has to be super spiritual? Like, do I have to hear a word, loud and clear in my ears that this is a vision? Why is having a vision for oneself, why is it relevant? And is this something that, is it something that can change over time?
All right, so having a vision is relevant because we all have, as human beings, the truth of it is that we are visual beings. We are all visual beings. There are things that, as long as everyone that has an imagination, and everybody does have an imagination, we all have specific purposes for being here. And as long as as long as somebody has a purpose, there's a vision. So a vision is actually a pointer to what that purpose is. It's the fun part, I think, of a purpose. It's the fun part because it's in visuals, you imagine it, you dream, you think about it and all that. So that's what a vision is. And it's very essential because it's very unique. There's nobody that has the same vision that you have, and which is why I like to distinguish between vision and goals. Goals can be the same, but a vision is very unique to every individual. They're as unique as our fingerprints, very unique. There's nobody that can. One of the things that happens when you first build, a board, if you build yours, I build mine, even if we have the same things that we look forward to, the same desires and all that, you realize that the board is different. So there's nobody that has the same vision, that thinks about it the same way, that, which is why, the vision is very important. It just makes you know, first and foremost, that you are different. You are different, you are distinct, there's space for you. So it makes you know that you don't have to compete with anybody else in the world. You are special, on your own. I think that's one of the best things I like, about the vision. There are so many other important things. So, yeah.
So I guess we can even get right into it, right? So first of all, how do we even get our vision? Like, I don't know. I don't know how to, like, am I still going to wait for that voice? You talked about it being unique, and indeed it is unique, considering that there are so many environmental factors around us that would influence, our direction in life. So, how do we get this vision before we actually start putting it plain on a table that he may underrate it? But yeah, how do we start? How do we have an idea? What makes it a valid statement for us to imbibe, like live by?
Yeah. So, like I said, it can be vague, and even in my work, the job that I do, I find that a lot of people are like, how do you explain, like, it has to be tangible, really. We have to make it tangible. So how we get our vision, how you find your vision is that it's just, I think the first stage to finding your vision is actually self-discovery. You have to discover yourself. There are some things that make you tick, differently from, it makes you distinct and different from other people. For example, I'll just give maybe like, there are so many things, but I'll just talk about maybe five. I'll talk about the fact that there are some people that, if there's anybody listening, there's some people that you follow on social media. You follow them for a particular reason. There's a reason why you follow them. There's a reason why you like them. It might be something that they do that you haven't thought about it, but deep down you wish that you were doing, what exactly they are doing. I've heard people say, oh, this person is living my dream life. This person is living my dream life. There's some on your phone or on your laptop. If you check your browser history, there's some specific things you're always searching for. Some specific things that you're always searching for. You always want to know about this thing. As far as growth is concerned, you always want to know these things. There's some desires that you have. Some people may just think, oh, it's not so important, but it's really important to you. Same as values. There are some things that you value. There are some things that is a deal breaker for you. So your vision is actually wrapped around even your dreams, the kind of dreams you have. When I talk about dreams, I'm not talking about the dreams that, maybe you sleep, you see it fine. You could see that in your sleep, but when you're awake, these are the things that you keep on thinking about. And one thing about, so a vision is actually a type of dream, but it's not, there are different kinds of dreams. There are feel good dreams. I want to go to Dubai. I just want to enjoy and things like that. But there are dreams that are recurrent. You
Mhm.
feel a sense of urgency. You feel like you have a part to play, like a role to play in the world, something that just makes you that makes you feel like there's a specific assignment you're here for. Those kind of dreams. So all those kind of things. So it's about self-discovery, really. All the things I like, the things that make me different, and all that. What are the kind of things that I like to do? Who was I when I was younger? Sometimes it's in your past as well, because your past kind of informs your future. What kind of, like when I was young, when I was 3 years old, 4 years old, I liked to sketch and draw, and I loved colors and things like that. And so no wonder that, I ended up studying what I studied. So your vision is actually hidden in all those things, hidden your passion, your desires, all the things that make you unique, all the things that are good about you that make you unique. Your vision is actually hidden in all those things. So it's not so hard to find. We just have to pay
Mhm.
attention to ourselves, listen to the vibes that we are getting, listen to the kind of things that make us that make you pay attention, that kind of thing. So your vision is actually hidden in all of that.
Okay. And in summary, like it's not just, a voice telling you, yeah, this is what it is. It's not just that, right? Everything around you literally has been working towards that thing. If you can just sit down to self-discover what they are, what are the things that you're passionate about, and then translating that to your vision. Okay, so just to get straight into it, I know some of us came specifically for this vision building party online. That's what we're having today. And so, like I said, make sure you have your pen and paper to just take notes. It's actually a privilege having Folakemi here, and it's free. So let me ask you a few questions as well, just so we can get into the activity in itself. What are the steps to, the departments actually, what are the things to consider when building a vision board?
Okay, so the kind of vision board, so like you mentioned, there are so many people doing vision boards now, in Lagos, Nigeria, where I live. And so what makes mine different? Why am I talking about vision boards? Why do I bother, to talk about vision boards? I have like a personal story when it comes to vision boards. Um, one of the things that we talked about, one of the things we invited people on this platform, for was we looked at, the kind of people we have, in the alumni, and the different phases of life that they are going through, and how sometimes the demands of life and, everything that's just happening around us can make you feel a little bit out of place or overwhelmed. How do you focus on your vision? How do you actualize your vision despite, all those things? I tell people all the time, and this is what I talk about in my workshop, that it's better for you to think about your life as a multifaceted life. So your life is not, even though you have one life, it has different departments. I call them departments of life, and I always highlight on 5 departments of life. The first department is your relationship. So your relationships is made up of your spirituality, which is your relationship with God, your relationship with your spouse, if you're married, with your kids. So, being a parent is a kind of relationship. You have a relationship with your family and your friends, the people at your office place and your workplace and all that. So all relationships, that's one department of life. You have another department of life that deals with your work and your finance. So ideally, your work is supposed to, take care of your finance. So which is why I pair them together. So work and finance. It could also be business. So you could have a career, or you could have a business, or you could have both. We have so many people having both now. I have both a career and a business. So, and that's my source of finance. And so that's another department of life. And I find that most people stay there. They want to actually focus on just the work, the career, but all the other aspects of life, your life is not going to be on hold. Things are not going to wait for you. Your spouse, your wife or your husband is not going to wait for you. Your kids are not going to, think time will be lost. Things will go wrong while you are focusing on just one aspect of life. So the overwhelm actually comes from focusing on one aspect, just one area of life, which is what we unknowingly do. The third department of life is your health and your well-being. If there's anything that you're chasing in life that makes you abandon your health or abandon your well-being has to do with your rest, your vacation, even your interior, exterior space, the kind of where you live, how everything is. Is it tidy? Is it, everything that has to do with your health and your well-being, even your social well-being, and things like that. So that's like the third department of life. The fourth department of life is your personal development, and that has to do with maybe your education, vocational skills, life skills, very important, life skills. A lot of people don't really consider life skills, but it's very important. People relationship and things like that, So that's the fourth department of life. The fifth department of life is very important as well. This is where you have people development. So it's not just about you, just your life and all that. You actually have to be giving back. So that's where impact comes, impact, influence, positive influence. You have to be reaching out to somebody. You have to mentor people. You have to, even if it's peer mentorship, peer mentoring. It doesn't have to be someone, you don't have to be way older. I've had the opportunity of mentoring people that I'm way younger than, so I know that mentorship is not about age. It could be anybody's mentor. It could be your peers, it could be older people, younger people. It could be you reaching out to the people who are less privileged or kids who cannot afford one or two things. But whatever, so funny enough, that particular aspect, like you, Naraya has, you have your Bloom, platform, so
Yeah, organization.
that's a form of people development. So it's not just about you and all the things you have. You're actually reaching out to people. So these are 5 departments of life, and it's when all these things are well integrated, it makes you a wholesome human being. It makes you somebody who is not just shallow, but someone who is deep. You are aware of all the aspects of your life, and it's when we are not aware and when we don't acknowledge that our life is not just in one aspect. That's when things are thrown, off balance, and that's when we begin to, feel overwhelmed, slightly. So that's it, really.
Right.
It's about focusing on all the departments of life and visioning for all those areas.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you mentioned like 5 broad categories, and then one you mentioned was the social bit. Like it's something that we actually don't carefully plan for. I don't know about some people, but like some people don't attend to things like their social needs. Some people don't attend to like influence and impact. Some people might be like, oh well, I'm at the stage of my life where I can't mentor people. So it sounds like a lot. I guess I guess the question is, how do you make sure that you are attending to all these facets of life, or as you call it, departments of life?
All right, so the thing is that it actually sounds like, a lot, but all we have to do is just be aware that all those areas exist,
Mhm.
and it makes you being aware and accepting that all those areas exist makes you a conscious person. So you're just walking consciously and you're aware that all those things exist. So when there's an opportunity to, and that's the reason why it's good to envision, broadly that way. So when there's an opportunity for you to improve, you look at it and you say, oh, I identify, I understand what this is. This is an opportunity for self-development, and you can take that. If it's an opportunity, for example, let's go with maybe relationships. If you're dating somebody or you're married to someone, there's a way that you see, this relationship progressing, or there's a way you view this marriage. If you say that you don't want, separations, you want to be together forever, there's a way that you behave. There's a way that you deposit into those buckets, so the departments can be viewed as buckets. The truth of the matter is that whether we are aware of it or we are not, we are actually either feeling or taking out, withdrawing or filling into all those buckets, at the same time. So being aware just makes you plan ahead. You don't have to actually go all in and tackle everything at the same time. But it's very important for every one of us to be aware that those areas exist, and that, okay, when this opportunity comes or when something happens, or you can even decide, oh, I want to focus on this particular aspect. You don't have to do everything together. You know how people juggle balls, as in the guys in, the
Yeah.
circuses and all that. They start with, like just two, and they keep juggling, and then they throw one more and they keep juggling, and then they just keep juggling and juggling. And you find someone juggling maybe like 5 balls at the same time, and that's mastery, that's actually mastery. But it starts with, maybe two and then three, and then you get used to it. The most important thing is to pace yourself and not allow the overwhelm, to just come. Just pace yourself, plan ahead for everything and every aspect, and the people in your life, and then set boundaries, and all those kind of things. So yeah, it's not about packing everything at the same time, but it's about being aware that your life is not just about your career, your work, and your business, because the other aspects are not going to wait. Time waits for no man. The kids are growing, the spouse, everything is actually, the earth is rotating. We're sitting here, right here,
We're
but there's
spinning.
movement. Exactly. And you
Mm-hmm.
can't tell. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
how life is.
Yeah, I think a few things I picked up from what you said is that, like you said, you can't take everything. So I think one of the things I picked out is, like this whole vision and vision boarding, they kind of help you stay focused, right, on the things that matter because you have defined them ahead of time. So it helps you eliminate like distractions as well and gives you that space to invest on the things that matter to you. Um, and I imagine it also helps with prioritization as well, where you know what you need to step on and all that. And just for context, I recently bought a journal, one of those things that you try at the beginning of the year to see how it works and to see, if you can get like, if you can order your life with it. And when I opened the page, it had the first page or so, one of the pages, it had this, 1 year ago, 5 year ago, 3 year ago, 20 year ago, 10 year ago. I'm like, guys, chill. I don't even know what I'm going to do like in 1 year. I mean, I kind of have an idea of where I want to be, but like I never thought about penning it down. So how far out should we have these visions or these ideas or, this, should we project for our future in this planning? And is this
All
something
right.
you repeat every time? Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is, there's some people who it's always based on the level of clarity that a person is at a certain time in life. Sometimes it's a lot of things that are beckoning, on you. Things are just calling out to you. You can feel it, that things are calling out to you. Some things and some projects and assignments, are just calling out to you. It could be, I just feel like I need to do something. That's how it comes. It comes as feelings, and all that. I always say to people that you should always envision as far as your eyes can see, as far as your eyes can see. And sometimes it really depends on, I think, temperaments and everything, really, it comes into play as well when you're dealing with, like a tool like the vision board, and even, planning life in general. So somebody who is maybe melancholy, would like to plan, and structure things and
Mhm.
all that. So people like that don't mind taking like so many things and saying, okay, you know what, bam, 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 I'm going to do this, and everything like that, because they're used to structure. It's how the brain functions. Somebody who
Yeah.
is maybe like a sanguine, is carefree and like, please, I don't want to just, I can't come and kill myself, that kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
so you find that all these things come into play when people are envisioning, and it's not,
Mhm.
it's just their natural,
Design.
format, natural
Hmm.
design. But we can always, whatever doesn't work, we can always tweak it. So I say, as far as your eyes
Right.
can see, but I have realized, because I've been doing this since 2016, 2017 formally, but I built mine, the first one in 2016. So it's been about 4 years now. I've seen that, and I've realized that people don't know how to convert when it's like too far. They don't know how to
Hmm.
track. So tracking is very important. One of the most important aspects of envisioning for your life is actualizing it. So it's not just about envisioning, it's about getting clear about it and actualizing that vision. So sometimes when people and when you're going to actualize the vision, you don't actualize like a something that is for maybe like 5 years. When you're going to be 80, you will be 80. You can't pull 80 years forward, and things like
Yeah.
that. So if you vision what you are going to be like, or who you are going to be in 80 years time or whatever, you have to still start from what's in front of you. So even though you're living you're seeing the future, you have to live in the now. So I always
Hmm.
tell people to think, before I used to say, oh, 5 years, because I could do that. My brain is, wired in that kind of way. But I realized, in
Hmm.
working with that the temperament and everything comes into play. And the most important thing for me, in the job that I do is to try and help everybody, not to put anybody down and say, oh, you can know, but to try and help everybody to maximize whatever it is that they have on the inside of them. So I tell people, start with, if 3 months is as far as you can see or you understand how to handle, you can do that. Ideally, 1 year is good, so you can build a vision board for 1 year, or you can envision for 1 year. So in the next 1 year, what do you want? What do you want to do? The next 3 years, even if you have like a 3 year vision, you will still start with the next 1 year. So, and then when you do the next 1 year, the most important thing to do is to break it down into 90 days or into 12 weeks each. So you have 4 quarters of the year, and then you work per quarter. So even if you say 1 year, you're still going to take the next 3 months and say, what do I want to do in the next 3 months to ensure that in the next 12 months, I'm who I want to be. I feel the way I want to feel. I've created what I want to be able to create this year and things like that. So the trick is to just take it in bit sizes. Envision for a year is the one that works the best. Envision for a year and then take it in 3 months, in quarters, break it down, have your goals, and then, go for it. That's what I would advise.
Yeah, that's great. Like you rightly said, personalities are different. Some of us can see, like, even till Jesus comes, and some of us can see, some of us can see literally tomorrow. But I guess one thing I wanted to highlight is that this is for everyone. Like Folakemi said, she said, it could be 3 months. You could even start, very small, like 1 month or even a week, right? Take it step by step. And this is something organizations, do as well, where they plan for the quarter, they plan for, let's say the month or something. So it kind of makes it easy for you, especially if there's someone that gets overwhelmed by a long-term planning. So it's something that would be valuable for you to even practice. I know we're speaking about like all facets of life, but if you have a business, if you have an organization, whatever, this is something that, I would recommend that you practice. So let's take this question from Sami before we actually go, because I'm so curious about the board behind you, and I want you to talk us through what you have there, because we also want to be equipped to build our own vision board, right? What we can see and every day look forward to becoming. So Somi's asking, should a family have a vision board, thinking an interactive one with kids aware of the family's vision?
Yeah, by all means, yes. So there are different kinds of vision boards, and it's very important for everybody who is building a vision board to know the exact one that they are building and why they are building it. So instead of saying, some will say, oh, there are 3 kinds of vision boards. There are actually 4 different, and this is something that I've been able to come up with because this is all I do. This is what I think about, every day. So there are 4 different categories, of vision boards, categories of vision boards. The first one is by format. The format of that vision board. Is it digital or is it physical? This is a physical board here. The digital and the physical actually, they can, you can interchange. I could take a picture of this and it becomes a digital one. I could print out a digital one and it becomes a physical one. There's a vision board based on information. What kind of information is on that vision board? There's a vision board based on ownership. which is the one that Somi is talking about. So who owns, so the one based on information, is it business? Is it career? Is it like